Ethan Walker adjusted the tiny pink backpack slung over his shoulder and looked down at his 5-year-old son, Leo, who clutched his toy dinosaur like a lifeline. The airport buzzed with impatient travelers and last-minute boarding calls, but all Ethan could think about was how exhausted they both were after the overnight layover. It was their first vacation in years, a modest beach trip Ethan had saved for quietly, cutting corners as a freelance graphic designer while parenting. Solo. When he was told at check-in that he had miraculously been upgraded to first class, thanks to a random airline promotion, he nearly laughed. One small luxury in a sea of sacrifices. But as he and Leo neared the gate, Ethan noticed 2 little girls, twins maybe 7 years old, sitting on their suitcases near the gate looking uneasy. No parent in sight. Their matching pigtails and oversized glasses made them look like tiny professors stranded at a science fair. "Is everything okay?" Ethan asked the flight attendant standing nearby. "Traveling alone. We're waiting to see if we can get them seated together. It's a full flight, though." Leo tugged at his dad's sleeve. "Dad, they look scared." Ethan turned back, studying their faces, half hidden behind stuffed unicorns, wide eyes darting toward every uniformed adult. And then, just like that, the decision was made. He turned to the gate agent. "Would it help if I gave up my first-class seat?" "Sir," she blinked, "you don't have to do that." "But I want to," he said, smiling softly. "Split my ticket into 2 economy seats if you can. I'll sit with my son in the back." The woman looked at him for a long moment, then nodded. The girls were ushered into the first-class cabin, seated together, next to a window. Ethan gave them a reassuring smile as they passed. He didn't expect a thank you. He didn't even know their names. But 10 minutes after takeoff, a stewardess appeared by Ethan's aisle seat with a tray. Compliments of the captain. She placed a meal on his tray, definitely not the usual economy fare. Then came noise-canceling headphones, a blanket, a note, scribbled in elegant cursive. "Thank you. You showed my daughters more kindness in 5 minutes than most people do in a lifetime. I'd love to meet you after we land. C. Monroe." Ethan stared at the signature, confused. Wait, Monroe, as in Charlotte Monroe, CEO of Atlantic Skies. The name was plastered all over the airline's branding, billboards, and commercials. Surely not. But sure enough, when the plane touched down and passengers began to disembark, a woman in a tailored navy suit stood just past the gate, the twins clinging to her hands. Her eyes locked onto Ethan immediately. "You're Ethan?" I am, he said, suddenly feeling very underdressed. "I'm Charlotte. These are my daughters, Grace and Maddie. They were flying to meet me from their grandparents' house. My pilot told me what you did." He was about to wave it off to say it was nothing, when she continued, "Most people wouldn't have even noticed them. You didn't just notice, you acted. I want to offer you something." "I didn't do it for—" "I know," she said gently, "but that's exactly why you should be rewarded." Over the next 10 minutes, Ethan learned that Charlotte Monroe, the notoriously private CEO, wasn't just a business mogul, but a single mom herself. Her daughters traveled often, and she relied on the humanity of strangers to look after them more times than she liked to admit. That day, Ethan didn't just walk away with gratitude. He walked away with a job offer. Atlantic Skies was launching a family-centered travel campaign and needed a lead designer. They also offered to fly him and Leo first class, anywhere, anytime. But the real reward? It was the letter he received a week later, handwritten by Maddie and Grace. "Thank you for being our hero in the airport. We felt safe because of you. In a world that often feels too busy to care, one small act of kindness can change the course of a stranger's day, or even their life. And sometimes, it leads you exactly where you were meant to be." Ethan tucked the girl's letter into a photo frame and placed it on his desk, right beside a picture of Leo building sandcastles on their recent beach trip. The sun had set by then, casting warm orange light over his modest apartment, but inside him, something was glowing far brighter. He still hadn't told many people about that flight. To most, It would have sounded like one of those unbelievable internet stories. Man gives up seat, gets dream job, meets powerful CEO. But to Ethan, it wasn't about what he got. It was about what he gave. A moment, a choice, a reminder that you don't have to be rich, famous, or even particularly brave to show up for someone. He took the job offer, yes, but not just for the paycheck. Atlantic Skies let him work remotely, from home, giving him more time with Leo. They even launched the campaign with a new motto: travel together, land closer. And Ethan's design, the one with the two girls looking out the airplane, window, fingers tracing clouds, became the face of it. Months later, at a company retreat, Charlotte approached him again. They'd grown into friends, bonded by parenting, long flights, and quiet conversations about what it meant to raise children in a world that didn't always feel kind. "You know," she said one evening, as the kids chased each other across the hotel lawn, "you didn't just help them. You reminded me there's still good people out there, that it's okay to trust." Ethan nodded. "I think we forget how much those little decisions matter. We think, I'm just one person. What difference does it make?" But that's how everything starts. She looked at him, eyes soft. "Promise me something?" "Sure. Don't ever stop noticing people." He smiled. "Deal." Later that night, as Leo fell asleep beside him in the hotel bed, Ethan watched his son breathe, his tiny chest rising and falling. He thought about that airport, the scared twins, the trade he'd made without thinking, and he realized something simple, something true. Kindness doesn't just change other people's lives, it changes yours too.